Musumeci said that a yellow alert remains in place and that the government is working with local and regional authorities to define an evacuation plan, which, if necessary, must be implemented immediately. Wow. There's 15 towns in the Campi Flegrei area, including Agnano and Pozzuoli, with a combined population of more than 500,000 people living in the so-called red zone, most at risk. Wow, 500,000 people are living in the red zone? What is it with people wanting to live close to volcanoes? Italy draws up emergency plans for Campi Flegrei supervolcano. What? Hey, everybody, let's talk about it. Rex Bear Leak Project. How the heck are you? Hope you're having a fantastic day today. May the force be with you, those of you especially that are dealing with the weather opportunities and the supervolcanoes. From CBS News, will gold's price hit $3,000 per ounce? Experts weigh in. Gold has been on a hot streak recently amid a climate of geopolitical and economic uncertainty. Since the start of the year, the price of gold has increased by over 16%, hitting a record high over $2,400 per ounce in May, according to the World Gold Council data. Some think gold's price could be poised for another run. For example, Citi analysts made headlines recently by predicting gold would hit $3,000 an ounce in the next 6 to 18 months. Next article, silver eyes $50. TD Securities predicts major breakout after $31 support holds. This is Kitco. A lot of good news in gold and silver. And some more good news, if you've got a 401 or an IRA, or if you want to open an account with Noble Gold Investments, they'll gift you a free, solid 1/4 ounce gold coin to add to your collection at no cost. Find out how to qualify. Give them a call, 877-646-5347. Go to Leak Project Gold, get the free ebooks. Go to Noble Gold Investments. Let them know Rex from Leak Project sent you. They have some great pricing on gold, silver, and other precious metals as well. I've bought platinum also from Noble Gold Investments. A lot of upside, folks. Now, there's obviously never any guarantee, so look at what the money funders are doing. Money funders and banks around the world are literally purchasing tons of gold. So give them a call, 877-646-5347. Okay, now let's get into this. Schools remain closed in Campi Flegrei area. The Italian government is also set to allocate more than $500 million to make buildings safe in the Campi Flegrei area near Naples, where a flurry of seismic activity in recent days is causing panic among residents. I'm going to leave the links in the video description box. I want to share a few articles with you. Remember last month when there was a 4.8 magnitude earthquake that hit New York City and New Jersey? That doesn't seem normal, does it? We'll talk about it. Also, Citigroup warns of potential economic crash. The geopolitical shift that the BRICS bloc has orchestrated may be playing a part in America's fourth largest bank, warning of an impending economic crash. Specifically, Citigroup's Andrew Hollenhorst noted that a hard landing is likely in the cards. Watcher.guru. Microsoft, though, they're not worried about it. Microsoft and OpenAI plan a $100 billion data center project, media report says. You can read about this, Reuters. Microsoft and OpenAI are working on plans for a data center project that could cost as much as $100 billion and include an artificial intelligence supercomputer called Stargate, set to launch in 2028. The information reported on Friday. Stargate, you say, will this supercomputer, OpenAI, AGI, possibly system create a Stargate? I mean, why not? That's a lot of money. If they're putting $100 billion into this thing, they are probably expecting some pretty incredible results. So let's talk about this for a minute. We've got OpenAI and Microsoft and their plans on a data center project that could cost as much as $100 billion. This will include artificial intelligence and a supercomputer that's called Stargate. So, interesting. This, in my thought process, would have something to do with traveling the stars or the ability to calculate scenarios that would allow for traveling the stars, hence the name Stargate. Set to launch 2028, and this information was reported on Friday. You can read all about it on Reuters. The OpenAI when asked to respond, did not immediately respond to Reuters. And there's this, what they term rapid adoption of generative artificial intelligence technology, which is leading to a higher demand for AI data centers capable of handling more advanced tasks than traditional centers. The information reported that Microsoft would likely finance the project. It is expected to be 100 times more costly than some of the biggest existing data centers currently, citing people involved in private conversations about the proposal. The US-based supercomputer would be the biggest in a series the companies are looking to build over the next 6 years. The report also adds the information attributed to the cost of $100 billion tentatively to a person who spoke to Altman about it and a person who has viewed some of Microsoft's initial cost estimates. They did not identify those sources. Altman and Microsoft have spread the supercomputers across 5 phases. Stargate being the 5th phase. Microsoft is working on smaller, like the 4th phase supercomputer for OpenAI, which will be launched around 2026, according to the report also. Microsoft and OpenAI are in the middle of the 3rd phase of the 5-phase plan. A significant portion of the cost for the next 2 phases involving acquiring the needed AI chips is what a huge portion of the cost will be, according to the report. And the AI chips are often sold at high prices. Companies like NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang told CNBC earlier in March that the latest Blackwell B200 artificial intelligence chip will be priced between $30,000 and $40,000. So the B200, is that moving its way up to the T1000? Remember the T1000, the liquid Terminator in the Terminator series, Terminator 2? Microsoft has also announced a duo of custom-designed computer chips in November last year. The new project would be designed to work with chips from different suppliers. We are always planning for the next generation of infrastructure innovations needed to continue pushing the frontier of AI capability, a Microsoft spokesperson said in the emailed statement to Reuters. The spokesperson did not comment directly on the report about the planned launch of the Stargate supercomputer. Expenses for the plan could exceed $115 billion, which is over triple Microsoft's expenditures last year on capital spending for servers, buildings, as well as other equipment, the report stated. So, the Technology Roundup newsletter brings the latest news and trends straight to your inbox. You can sign up. I'll leave the Reuters link in the video description box. What do you think about that? And what do you think about the term Stargate? That's a pretty catchy term. And will this have the ability to read the future? Will this have the ability to create Stargates? I certainly wouldn't be surprised. I mean, with the technologies they're coming out with now, wow. Just look back 20, 30 years ago, and some of the stuff we've got out now seems to be science fiction technologies. So time will definitely tell. I can see a very bright future with artificial intelligence and supercomputers if used the right way with the right people behind it. Some people are saying universal income and artificial intelligence is going to take over the world and take everybody's jobs. I'm not so sure. I used to think that. I used to be very concerned about artificial intelligence and the singularity and transhumanism, and now I find it fascinating. I definitely think that there needs to be rules in place, but will people follow those rules? I mean, that's a bigger concern of mine. Yeah, there can be rules there, but what if people are finding ways to go around them? And with countries and corporations and very powerful people spending so much time and money and resources on artificial intelligence, it's clearly the future according to them. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see humanoid robots on a regular basis within the next 5 to 7 years. They've got a multitude of robots that are available now for purchase. I saw one the other day that was a humanoid robot, bipedal, that was like 16 grand. They could perform all sorts of tasks. Well, now imagine an artificial intelligence program that could run through any type of robot and actually be sentient, whether it's in a toaster or a microwave oven or a refrigerator or some type of Tesla superbot. It's the software behind it, the programming that could make it even more powerful. And, maybe we'll have Jetsons type robots in the near future that helps us with our laundry and helps us keeping the house clean. I wouldn't be surprised. But the Stargate term, that name Stargate, I find that remarkable. And maybe it's just a catchy name that they came up with. They're like, what should we call this? What could we call something that's going to cost $115 billion? Well, let's call it Stargate and everybody will love it. Yeah, let's call it Stargate. That's perfect marketing. With this type of processing power, would you be surprised if it came up with the formula for traversing the stars without the need of a rocket? Traversing the stars through some type of Stargate, hence the term Stargate. Then I was doing some research and I was like, I wonder how many nations there are, how many countries are there that their gross domestic product is less than 100 billion a year. Well, when we get to the country Venezuela, so Venezuela, their gross domestic product is $102,328,000,000 a year. They're 69 on the list. Hello. So this project for an artificial intelligence server Stargate is going to cost more than what an entire nation produces in a year. And if you scroll down the list, Costa Rica, Croatia, Panama, Ivory Coast, Uruguay, Serbia, Lithuania, Tanzania, Ghana, Sri Lanka, Congo, Slovenia, Belarus, Uganda, Jordan, Bolivia, Libya, Paraguay, Latvia, Estonia, Lebanon, Honduras. The list goes on, folks. El Salvador, Georgia, Papua New Guinea, Zambia, Bosnia, and Herzegovina, Trinidad and Tobago, Sudan, Guinea, Albania, Malta, Jamaica, Syria, Palestine, Moldova, Yemen, North Korea, Madagascar, all well below $100 billion a year. And I find that remarkable. Stargate, wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if something at this level could come up with a plethora of solutions. And in the wrong hands, the opposite. So let's focus some positive energy on the future of artificial intelligence, artificial general intelligence, supercomputer systems. There was a supercomputer that just sold at auction for, I think, about $150,000. And this, let me see here, supercomputer auction, $148,000. I'm sorry, $480,000. A $40 million government supercomputer at auction sold for $480,000. Want to buy a decommissioned supercomputer? Here's your chance. There's still time left for a bid on this 145,152 core Cheyenne supercomputer that was once the 20th most powerful computer in the world. I remember when this was cutting edge. Wasn't that long ago. Bidding started at $2,500 and it sold for less than $500,000. 5,340 teraflops. That's insane. Wow. They've got supercomputers now that aren't even quantum computers, traditional supercomputers, that can calculate if you were to take every person on the planet, multiply that by 1,000, approximately, give or take, supercomputers can now calculate that many scenarios, that many floating points per second. So imagine a supercomputer designed for future predictions, future forecasts. It's like mirror, mirror on the wall kind of stuff. Mirror, mirror on the wall. What do we do to make everybody in that nation want to do what we say? Or How do we get everybody to think a certain way? How do we get an entire nation? How do we get a city? How do we start from one person and get that to expand to 1 billion? Well, let's ask the mirror, mirror on the wall. Ask the supercomputer. Give it a scenario. Ask for the solution. Ask for the formula. They've been doing this for years, and it's becoming more and more advanced. And talk about predicting the future with a very high accuracy, not perfect, but quite high. You could predict entire outcomes that would change civilizations. Welcome to artificial intelligence. Can we go back? Did the ancients, those that colonized the planet with high technologies that we still can't duplicate, yet we, as far as the educational mainstream programs that attempt to come up with a reason or how some of these megaliths were built that are quite hilarious because they still couldn't be duplicated, yet they have all these ridiculous answers on how some of these megaliths were built. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a time many, many years ago, thousands of years ago, before the deluge, where there were artificial intelligence programs that helped create certain buildings and structures and technologies. That's just obviously a sci-fi thought right now, and I wouldn't be surprised. It doesn't mean I'm right, and it doesn't mean I'm wrong. So what do you think about artificial intelligence? What do you think about the singularity? What are your thoughts about these microcomputers and nanotechnologies that could truly revolutionize the world? Are you fearful? Are you hopeful? A little bit of both? Are you a healthy skeptic? I want to read your comments in the comment section. Now, another good news article here, I think, is from CBS News. Will gold's price hit $3,000 per ounce? Experts weigh in. Gold has been on a hot streak recently amid a climate of geopolitical and economic uncertainty. Since the start of the year, the price of gold has increased by over 16%, hitting a record high over $2,400 per ounce in May, according to the World Gold Council data. Some think gold's price could be poised for another run. For example, Citi analysts made headlines recently by predicting gold would hit $3,000 an ounce in the next 6 to 18 months. Next article, silver eyes $50. TD Securities predicts major breakout after $31 support holds. This is Kitco. Then CNBC, silver set for a terrific year and could outperform gold to hit a 10-year high. A lot of good news in gold and silver. And some more good news, if you've got a 401 or an IRA, or if you want to open an account with Noble Gold Investments, they'll gift you a free, solid 1/4 ounce gold coin to add to your collection at no cost. Find out how to qualify. Give them a call, 877-646-5347. Go to Leak Project Gold, get the free ebooks. Go to Noble Gold Investments. Let them know Rex from Leak Project sent you. They have some great pricing on gold, silver, and other precious metals as well. I've bought platinum also from Noble Gold Investments. A lot of upside, folks. Now, there's obviously never any guarantee, so look at what the money funders are doing. Money funders and banks around the world are literally purchasing tons of gold. So give them a call, 877-646-5347. Okay, now let's get into this. WantedInRome.com. News, Italy. The Italian government is set to allocate more than $500 million to make buildings safe in the Campi Flegrei area near Naples, where a flurry of seismic activity in recent days is causing panic among residents. The measure was announced by the Civil Protection Minister at a press conference on Wednesday, following interministerial talks chaired by Premier Giorgia Meloni. The meeting was called to address the ongoing seismic storm of tremors. Listen to this. It is a highly seismic zone of supervolcanic calderas. That sounds pretty cool. Which was shocked and rocked by a 4.4 magnitude earthquake on Monday night. Its strongest quake in 40 years. It's interesting because Diamond and myself are doing a petroglyph tour to the Crow Canyon area in New Mexico, where actually it's coming up here in a few days. And there's a panel out there that has what looks like two fours. It's called the 44 panel. and they're not fours, and we're trying to figure out what it actually means. It's quite cryptic. And the ever since Diamond and I said we're going to do this tour and show people these panels, I have been seeing 4.4 like crazy. So the strongest quake in 40 years, a 4.4. The earthquake was part of a flurry of 150 tremors in 5 hours, and it prompted many local residents to spend the night in their cars, followed by a 3.6 magnitude on Wednesday morning. Musa Messi said that a yellow alert remains in place and that the government is working with local and regional authorities to define an evacuation plan, which, if necessary, must be implemented immediately. Wow. The minister said that school buildings will be a priority in the safety plan and confirmed that schools in the area will remain closed until Friday. In the so-called red zone, the most dangerous area, there are 1,250 houses that would be at high risk, seismic risk, and 2,750 at medium risk, adding that around 80,000 people live in the area. He said that regulations would be approved to prohibit any new construction in the most at-risk areas, which should have been prevented in the past. Today also creates problems from the point of view of evacuation plan. Musa Messi also said that the government is considering the possibility of supporting Campi Flegrei residents who wish to relocate. Those who choose to live in the Campi Flegrei area knew that they lived in a difficult area that presents risks, he said. If you decide to stay in that place, you must help us promote responsible coexistence with greater awareness. The Campo Flegrei volcano last erupted in 1538. However, earthquakes have been common in the area since 1950. There was a surge of seismic unrest in the early 80s as well. Experts believe the recent spike in seismic activity is linked to the bradyseism, a phenomenon that involves the gradual uplift or descent of part of the Earth's surface caused by the filling of emptying of underground magma chambers or hydrothermal activity. Read all about it, Wanted in Rome. Now, if we look, let's go see if we can, here's the evacuation plan. Oh, this is just taking us back there. Italy to drop evacuation plan. Yes, we know that. Phlegrean fields registers spike in seismic activity. The Italian government on Thursday announced new measures in light of an increased seismic activity in the volcanic Campi Flegrei area near Naples, including plans for a possible mass evacuation. The Phlegrean fields has registered months of earthquakes, including a 4.0 on Monday, a 4.2 quake last week, and then the 4.4 that recently happened. The government's allocated $52 million for the measures, which would include structural inspections of buildings in the area, extra resources and staff for local and civil protection agencies, and the launch of an awareness campaign in schools. Local hospitals are set to carry out evacuation tests in the emergency rooms on Friday and Saturday to ensure that staff are prepared for coping with the fallout from stronger earthquakes or volcanic eruptions. The Phlegrean fields were declared a regional park 20 years ago. It is a highly seismic zone of supervolcanic calderas situated about 20 kilometers west of Naples. Campo Flegrei volcano last erupted in 1538. There's 15 towns in the Campi Flegrei area, including Agnano and Pozzuoli, with a combined population of more than 500,000 people living in the so-called red zone, most at risk. Wow, 500,000 people are living in the red zone? What is it with people wanting to live close to volcanoes? It's amazing. You would think that they would learn through history, but hey, I get it. It's the energy. And I'm thinking of this 4.8 that hit New York back last month. Actually, it was early April. The earthquake occurred 10:23 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 miles northwest of Bridgewater, New Jersey, rattling skyscrapers across Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens. It was a 4.8. That is moderate, although one of the biggest earthquakes to ever affect New York City. Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts felt the quake as well. Interesting. Now, I wanted to talk about Houston for a minute because this is one of the predictions. This is prediction 23 that I made at the end of last year. I made 30 predictions. Many of them have come to fruition. One of these is still happening, and Houston is just getting slammed with like flooding and storms and rain and chaos. I mean, it's pretty hectic in Houston. So may the force be with you in Houston. Many people lost power. Houston is one of the biggest cities in the nation, and nearly 30,000 people with CenterPoint Energy are still in the dark a week after deadly storms that hit Houston. So this is the 1 week mark today, and CenterPoint said 890,000 customers have had their power restored since May 16th storm. So that's 97% of the customers impacted by power outages. Glad to hear that. However, over 20,000 customers, 27,000 customers are still in the dark, according to the outage tracker. And CenterPoint previously said the deadline for most people to have their power restored was Wednesday night. So these are, according to the company is calling the remaining outages isolated instances in certain locations where there is a substantial damage or where customers are unable to receive power. Really? No, you don't say. So here's what also is tough, especially for those in Houston that don't have power. Heat index values are exceeding 100 degrees, extremely hot out there. So could you imagine? I mean, how many people live in Houston? 5 million approximately. And then here's another article, The Guardian, horrifying gross mosquito bugs in Houston after recent storms, theguardian.com. Imagine who wants to move to Houston? Do we have any takers? Come on, you're going to love it. The traffic, wow. I worked in Houston for a few weeks. I hope to never go back. And I remember where I was working was just a few miles away from where Joel Osteen does his church congregations. And like that small strip of highway was bumper to bumper for over an hour just to go a few miles. It's like, oh, I'm sure that's got to be a lot of fun. So, and then the volcanoes, we've got volcanoes, we've got earthquakes in weird places, we've got bizarre weather, and then the tornadoes that people are dealing with in the Midwest. But the news, with the access we have to the news around the world, it's like, and constantly watching the news, we're more aware of a lot of these global opportunities. So be prepared, not scared. Have a backup plan. Thanks for watching. And for those of you that want to watch the full interviews, because I've been getting a bunch of emails and comments about we took down about 4,500 videos on YouTube because we want to keep everything as smooth as possible on there, and they continue to change the algorithm. So we just want to make sure that everything's well. And so we've moved those to Patreon and leakproject.com if you want to watch them. And make sure to hit that bell for all notifications because we're going to continue to update you with the latest news. We're going to ask the questions and be excellent to each other. Be the change you want to see.